Hello and welcome to 3 Minute Gaming. I'm Nathan, and today I'm going to tell you if this game's worth your time and bandwidth.
Today's game is Dungeons of Hinterberg. Persona goes on vacation with his friends making dungeon diving tourist trap. Is Dungeons of Hinterberg worth using your PTO? Let's find out. Dungeons of Hinterberg is a third-person action game focused around dungeon diving, exploring, and enjoying beautiful landscapes, making friends, and just basically being on vacation in Austria. You play as Luisa, stuck in a rut with her lawyer job, who goes on an indefinite vacation to Hinterberg, a small Austrian town. The town recently had some bizarre magical experience where dungeons of various difficulty as well as monsters and magic just appeared, so they instantly turned it into a tourist trap. This is a clever parody of the common industry that exploits natural beauty. Dungeons are labeled like you'd label ski slopes with difficulties, as well as there being tour guides and park rangers that keep people safe. This ties into the individual character stories as well, as residents of the town are both happy for increased business and frustrated with their town's traditions being turned into tourism fodder. The game itself is split into time chunks, 3 a day, where you'll be able to engage in a handful of activities. In the morning and noon, you'll do the main stuff, which is you'll journey to one of the game's 4 open areas to explore. As you run around, you can find secrets, zen out in scenic locations, or hike to various dungeons. These dungeons are the core method of progression, with each having a difficulty rating, and you need to bump up your gear to be best prepared. Dungeons themselves are comprised of both Zelda-style puzzles and combat, with much more of the former. Each of the 4 zones comes with a unique pairing of magic that you can only use in that zone and its dungeons. Things like an exploding ball, summoning a tornado you can ride, or a giant gel cube. The dungeons have puzzles designed around those specific magical combos. The combat is very standard, with usual third-person light and heavy attacks, limited dodges, and up to 3 abilities on cooldown. You can also use your magic in combat, though it's limited to mana. And to be better prepared, you can augment your character with a near automata-style badging system, as well as the ability to upgrade all of your gear as you progress. After your eventful early day, your afternoon will be spent in Hinterberg, where you can do shopping, or more importantly, increase social links. There's a dozen-ish characters to hang out with, and doing so not only helps you learn more about them, but also provides core combat upgrades to prepare you for later. You can choose to either go to bed early or stay up late to raise 1 of 5 social stats at the cost of max hit point the next day. It's a simple loot, but surprisingly chill, as unlike Persona games, this one has no time limit, and you could just spend a week chilling with friends and enjoying the sights if you wish. And that's really Dungeons of Hinterberg, a vacation simulator where you'll not only be getting dungeon-related exercise, you might also meet some cool people along the way. So what did I like about Dungeons of Hinterberg? Well, the loop is fantastic, somehow managing to both have the feeling of constant advancement you get from Persona, but paired with a cozy game style of do whatever you want with no pressure that makes it feel like a vacation. Additionally, the puzzles in the dungeons were a highlight for me, as they strike that great Zelda-esque balance of being just tricky enough to get satisfaction, but never frustrating. And lastly, the underlying story was very engaging, seeing this town transformed by tourism and how different groups of people react to it, and how exploitation of natural beauty can often lead to overlooking the native residents' needs or ecological impact. When it comes to the bad, the combat is certainly the weakest element here. I wouldn't say it's bad, it's simply adequate, and doesn't do anything particularly interesting with its often repeating enemies. Additionally, I do wish the social links had a little more to them, with stuff like giving gifts feeling tacked on, and most general interactions not advancing beyond surface level. And lastly, the latter portions of this game do drag a bit. Having to grind out gear to then grind the final dungeons is not chill, with the whole thing feeling like maybe it should have ended a little bit sooner. As you know, I rate games here on a 3-point scale: must play, maybe consider, and don't bother. And I got to admit, I didn't know much about Hinterberg, but I left kind of loving it. While no singular part is exceptional, it all combines into this lovely little dungeon diving, vacation taking, friend making experience. It is a charming little game, and one I highly recommend if you're looking to chill out, advance at your own pace, and take a few lazy days. Hey, that's just like a real vacation. How about that? That's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you played or heard of Dungeons of Hinterberg, are you going to check it out now because it's on Game Pass? Please let me know what you think in the comments, but regardless, do make sure you go give Dungeons of Hinterberg a look.